Hi everybody, Jane here, and I'm going to be talking today about Walking with Miss Millie. I don't expect this review to be very huge. It was a good book. I read it because I was in middle grade March, and this was my pick for the representation. So Miss Millie is an African American lady who is living in Georgia, and there is also rep of deaf rep, I guess you would call it, hearing impaired rep. The little girl Alice has a brother who has a hearing impairment. So this story is about Alice, and her parents are separated, and her mother has moved down back to her hometown of Georgia, of Rainbow, Georgia, to live with her mother who has some dementia. And Alice is not happy. She just wants to go back to her school and her friends, and she's not making this transition very well. One day, she listens in on a conversation she shouldn't have and is told to apologize. And part of making up for this rudeness is that she is supposed to be walking Miss Millie's dog. Well, unfortunately, Miss Millie's dog doesn't want to be walked by anybody but Miss Millie. So Alice starts walking with Miss Millie, initially with the intent that once the dog gets used to her, she will start walking the dog because Miss Millie is an elderly lady. I believe she's like in her 90s. And so as they are walking, they talk about the difficulties Alice is having in adjusting, and they talk about, some of the things Miss Millie has been through, some of the prejudices she has faced. Along the way, Alice also meets people in the town who still have some very prejudiced views. And it's a really cute story about friendship. For me, this was a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I had a good time reading it. I really appreciated the discussion, the very age-appropriate discussion, I felt like, for kind of some of the prejudices, particularly those held in the South. I lived in Georgia, and it was not my favorite place, just gonna say. But I did feel like this was a pretty good, accurate representation of Georgia. And it's funny because Alice came from Ohio, and so I live in Ohio, so I was like, it totally related to the culture shock of moving to Georgia and how different it is down there. And the weather's different, and everything's different in Georgia. I think the main reason this wasn't a 5 out of 5 for me is it wasn't anything overly special. It was fine, it was well done, it was a little better than average, but it didn't blow me out of the water. Alice was okay, and I loved her family. I thought they were well developed. I thought her struggles with, the choices her parents have made about their relationship, and her struggling to have a relationship with her father, also her meeting the other kids in town and seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly of the racial tension that still exists in their town. All of it was really good, really interesting. I'm not sure what I wanted more from this book, but I do feel like maybe there could have been more. Now, it is a middle grade, so this is probably a perfectly appropriate middle grade book. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing that I can point to and be like, it's not right. It didn't blow me out of the water. It was just a nice, cute, sweet, heartwarming, and at times heartbreaking story. There is some sad things that happen. I'm gonna just point out that Miss Millie's 90 something. So you can guess what might happen on the way to the 90-year-old neighbor. But this was really good. I do recommend it. It was a fun read. Fun, cute, cried at the end. Definitely some good life lessons taught, and not in a heavy-handed way. I don't think they were heavy-handed. The characters were fine. There was nobody that I loved or that super stood out to me, but I did like that Alice had so many people in her world that were experiencing different complications, like the grandma with Alzheimer's. That was an interesting look at the difficulties of that disease, her brother who's deaf, and the things that are harder in his world. And then also, of course, Miss Millie and everything that she went through. So, again, good book. I recommend. Worth the read. All right. This is Jane. If you've read it, I'd love to hear what you thought of it. Particularly if you have a family member who is deaf or has Alzheimer's. I don't know how the rep was for that. Like, it seemed good. I was interested in what was done and said, but I don't know how the actual deaf rep was or the Alzheimer's rep because I've not personally dealt with those things. So I'd love to hear how you felt the rep was, because I was reading this book because this was my diversity read for middle grade March. I am curious to see how you felt the rep was and if it was good. It was there for sure, but I wasn't sure if it was accurate and good. It seemed to be, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed her brother and his experiences as the things happen that the things he experiences as a deaf child in the story. So leave comments below for me, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. This is Jane. Bye.